Team Vitality have just lifted their third Tier 1 trophy in a row, with ZywOo leading the charge and picking up his 17th LAN MVP, passing Simple's record of 16. This series was incredibly close, taking all 5 maps to decide the winner. But you probably wouldn't have guessed that if you watched the first map, which was an absolute slam dunk on Inferno. Vitality pulled off the first ever 13-0 in a grand final in CS2 history. In an otherwise close series, that begs the question, how did this even happen? But before we dive into all the details, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. For those of you that don't know, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that allows you to select the old skins you don't want anymore and pick out some new ones from the monkey. It's a great way to freshen up that old dusty inventory, and hey, that's not all. They have some amazing filter and selection features, as well as 24/7 live support. If you click the link in the description, you can get a free $5 and a 30% deposit bonus that becomes 35% if you use my code TACTICS on the site. Don't miss out on this offer and check out SkinsMonkey today. Let's get back into the video. Let's get things started with the opening round of this grand final. There's nothing too far out of the ordinary here, with MOUZ in a 3-2 setup and Vitality heavily favoring the banana side of the map. They make the decision to go loud and sprint towards Car, which, along with Jimmy spotting the bomb on Apex, convinces him to rotate over towards the B site, while all of Vitality are silently moving up towards that newly created gap. Rops ends up activating in apartments as his teammates have scaled up mid, getting into a duel that's not too pretty but ends with a wide open A site. Even though Jimmy does get one through the smoke, MOUZ eventually opt for a 4-man save, and yeah, that's Inferno, isn't it? With all that armor saved in the last round, MOUZ make the smart decision to force with SMGs and a good bit of utility. They throw a massive volley of nades, resulting in the opening kill, but it's followed with a ton of trades back and forth. Now, after they end up taking full car control, they're able to eventually power their way onto site, but it ends up in a 2 versus 2 post plant, and once that smoke ends up fading, unfortunately for Flames, he's going to end up getting caught out here by Jimmy and brought right down. But Rops is Rops, so he's going to be able to fairly easily trade this, and then end up in a pretty suspenseful 1v1 versus Torzy. Now, they're both at pretty good health, but Torzy does have an HE here to completely blister Rops with, but it's not going to take much for Rops to just bring him right down. Sometimes your stars have to shine, and luckily for Vitality, they have quite a few on this roster. Naturally, MOUZ are on a full eco after that last round, so in a 13-0 victory, you definitely expect Vitality to run them right over. Apex has a nifty little nade lineup to drill the boost players, but Spinks is still able to make a dent into Mezzy before falling back. Unfortunately, Torzy goes down, Brolin then picks up a kill, and once the dust settles a bit, Spinks goes through the smoke and gets himself a second on the round. Just like that, a full eco is turned into a chaotic 2 versus 2, and with Rops going down, we have yet another 1 versus 2 demanded by a star player. But it's ZywOo, of course he's gonna win it. However, this goes to show that these first few rounds were extremely scrappy, and without the insane firepower and clutch factor on this roster, I don't think we'd be talking about a 13-0 here. The fourth round is our first true full buy round. Yet again, MOUZ absolutely blast Vitality with utility on Banana. Before they've even spotted an enemy, they've got ZywOo at 14 HP, Mezzy at 45, and Apex at 63. Even though Exertion gets the opener onto Mezzy, ZywOo quickly trades, and Vitality make their way back over towards A, while Apex stays behind and does a bit of spamming and throws a molly on Banana, so they end up deciding off the back of that to rotate the op over towards B and send Brolin to A. This created just enough of a gap to allow Vitality out of apps and into pit, where they get to just outright showcase their firepower and win those duels. Of course, MOUZ end up saving, and off the back of the save, they reinvest. However, this is where you see some of Vitality's prep come into play. They've got a triple nade stack hooked up to target Exertion, and it was a little bit more than successful. As you can see, this thing triple naded him right out of existence, with 2 of them hitting him square off into the face. And off the back of that $900 opener, Apex catches an incredible timing on Brolin and takes full advantage of it, leading from the front and just deciding that, hey, we're gonna win this round right here, right now. And of course, MOUZ give it a quick look, but ultimately this round was over the second Apex spotted Brolin on that timing, and they took the site. They open up the next round with that exact same triple nade stack, although Exertion decides to pass on eating it for breakfast this time. Meanwhile, MOUZ have gone for a nice aggressive haul setup to give Torzy an easy opener onto Robs. Just after he gets the kill, he rotates all the way over to B site to keep them guessing where the op is. And the bomb starts favoring the A side of things, and a flash reveals that the op is all the way across the map. Even though they're walking into a well-defended A site, ZywOo walks out of apps and immediately brings down 2. This was a pretty costly site hit though, and after an HE brings down Mezzi, ZywOo is once again in a clutch situation. He fakes, brings down Exertion, and then with perfect time management, he pulls off the plant, and is in a post-plant with only 3 bullets in his AK. Of course, it's ZywOo. He only needs to use one of them to win the round, so he does. On to round 7, Mezzi and Apex throw standard utility towards Banana, mollying it out completely. Meanwhile, there's a very clear call from Spawn to do an early apps pop. This utility is just to keep the B players completely occupied. Now, MOUZ, like many teams, enjoy going into a triple bracket setup early on. And of course, they have the perfect way to deal with this, with Mezzi smoking off Moto for the Abs players, then flashing Apex in, who has Jimmy completely reading Braille up top. Even though he's brought down, they're going to immediately trade out and kill Torzy, with Rops being ready for Spinks, yet again getting a double entry, and it's off to save City once again for MOUZ. The difference is, this time, they're tired of MOUZ reinvesting, so they're going to completely hunt them down, bringing down both of the savers, and essentially guaranteeing a round win for the next round as well. And as a result, there's a very light investment in this round, and MOUZ try a top car flash play that doesn't really yield any results. Mezzi scoops them both up, and then once Vitality eventually execute onto site, he's going to pick up a third to put the final nail into the coffin for this particular round. Finally, MOUZ are on yet another buy. They give Torzy the op and give him the green light to go ahead and get an opener on mid after he throws his smokes. I mean, it's just Apex out there. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, maybe that could go wrong. And hey, after Apex gets that pick, he ends up reading the setup like an absolute book and has Vitality circle Jimmy like a shark, ending the round before it ever even started. MOUZ managed to save 2 rifles, but things are starting to look very scary. In round 10, MOUZ once again bloodied the noses of Vitality on Banana, delivering a huge payload to both Mezzi and Apex, doing right at 150 damage total. Off the back of this, Vitality decide to give A site a look by scaling brackets. This is probably the worst possible call, as they're low health and walking into a 4-stacked bomb site. However, even though the opener goes to Torzy, ZywOo is going to get the trade. Ideally, Torzy should probably be running back to site there, but at a 9-0 scoreline, I can understand trying to go for a little bit more here. As the bracket smoke fades, Vitality have no problem taking care of Spinks, with 3 players locked in on him. In the background, Mezzi's been scaling up towards B and gives it the all clear. This allows them to call the hit off just in time to avoid disaster and get a free 3 versus 1 post-plant situation, instead of allowing Brolin to attempt a multi-frag from site. Back to a light investment for MOUZ, they go for yet another close-ranged fight on Banana, ending in pain and misery, and yet another round loss, making the scoreline 11-0. With it being MOUZ's last CT round, this is their final chance to get on the board this half. Naturally, it starts off with a clean ZywOo opener onto top car, then a double nade targeting Spinks in brackets. This forced him out of cover for the free kill. Afterwards, Mezzi somehow pulls this shot off, and ZywOo punishes Torzy. This is just complete domination. There's just no hope for MOUZ here at all. With Flames ending the half with an easy headshot onto Jimmy, things are looking pretty grim when it comes to this second half pistol. With a 13-0 on the line, Vitality do an aggressive push down mid. Mezzi falls, but ZywOo trades, followed by a flurry of trades ending in Flames getting the kill onto Torzy. Meanwhile, Apex is just solo locking down Banana and hits this unbelievable shot with the P2000 of all weapons. He rotates as Flames gets picked and enters the 2 versus 2 with a 1 HP Rops. Of course, Rops still takes one with him, and it's a 1v1 for the 13-0. A 1v1 that Apex is going to win because he knows Brolin is low, and just like that, it's round over. To wrap things up, the main difference between this being a 13-0 and just a simple 13-5 or 13-6 stomp is just Vitality's firepower. They dominated most rounds, but there were quite a few clutches won, as well as dangerous sight hits that ended in ZywOo, Rops, and Flames simply ripping off heads. And that's no dig at the tactics side of their game. Apex called an incredible T-side with great protocols and set grenade plays to target specific players. On top of that, he did an amazing job in the mid-round, fully taking advantage of any opportunities given to him. The main difference is if his team had firepower similar to a team like Na'Vi, this wouldn't have been a 13-0, but still a convincing victory. That's all I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Do you want to see more of this type of professional analysis? I'd love to hear your feedback. Before I go, I do want to thank all of my amazing channel members on screen right now. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do what I love every single day, and I'll see each and every one of you in the next one.